Episode 177.
Honestly, it's their attitude, because if they're great at fixing cars, but they're no fun to be around, or they're great at fixing cars, but they repel everybody else in the shop, I'd rather have 5 average guys than one hot shot with an attitude problem.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hello, aftermarketers throughout North America and around the world. Carm Capriato here, and thank you for listening to Remarkable Results Radio. That's available on mobile listening services such as Apple iTunes, Google Play Music, Spreaker, and Stitcher Radio. And welcome to episode 177 with Joe Hanson from Gordie's Garage. And he says he's a proud member of RLO's 20 Group number 13. Now, this episode is brought to you each week by Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Search for parts, get the latest technical updates, and sign up for their new Garage Rewards loyalty program at their all-new website, fmmotorparts.com. Hey, a shout out to Kirk Holland and Patty Lynn Muldoon for liking my Facebook page, and to Harris Garage for the Twitter follow, and to Bud Robertson for the connection on LinkedIn. It's easy to follow me on social. Look for Remarkable Results Podcast, and on LinkedIn, search for Carm Capriato. And every week, every time I get a like or two, I've got a ton of them in the queue. I'll mention who's hanging out with me on social. And also get in touch with me via email. Send me suggestions on the show, testimonials, I love to get them, or subjects you want covered. Here's the email, carm@remarkableresults.biz, that's B-I-Z. Now meet Joe Hanson from Gordie's Garage, a second-generation shop owner building upon the family legacy and his dad, Gordie. The show notes for Joe Hanson are at remarkableresults.biz, B-I-Z/E177. Now, there's more on Joe in the shop there. Joe's dad, Gordie, started the business in 1980. Joe brings much to the table in this interview. He shares how he overcomes one of his weaknesses. He says he's lazy, and he has built strong systems and a highly disciplined to-do list that keeps him focused and on track. I believe he has created a strong program of accountability, as he believes if it's not written down, it's not true. Most SOP and policies are online for his team, and they have full access. Hear Joe explain how he uses the paperless system. Joe has recently changed his service slogan. It used to be, "We are the dealer alternative." Listen for his creative replacement to this marketing strategy. Also, listen to this competitive and task-oriented entrepreneur who has used a DVI, Digital Vehicle Inspection System, for the last 3 years and how it has helped his business. And hear one of the best customer service stories I have ever heard. And also learn about Joe's new profit-sharing program to be implemented in 2017. Joe shares where he spends his marketing effort and that he has a renewed focus on customer retention. So many more great nuggets for you in this episode. Now, here we go with Joe Hanson. Family businesses are a staple of our aftermarket industry. With a love for fixing cars, Gordie Hanson decided to open his own family-owned and operated business. Committed to the best service, Gordie's Garage believes that honesty is the key to success. My guest today is second generation and son of Gordie Hanson from Gordie's Garage in Roseville, Michigan. This single shop operation with 4 techs and 11 lifts is open Monday through Friday. Now meet Joe Hanson.
How you doing?
I'm great, Joe. Thanks for being on. Are you ready to share your remarkable results?
For sure. Let's do it.
So family business, cool. I can relate to that. And second generation, you've got to be so proud. I mean, does your dad just love what you're doing to the business?
Yeah, he's. You could tell he's excited when the decision was made to carry it on, because he never told us this is what we had to do. He gave us choices, and this is what the choice was, so it made him proud. Cool.
Now, look, we had a pre-call, learned a lot about you. I know your passion for personal development, building people. Tell me about it.
Well, you can't solve the same problems with the same thinking that got you there. That's what I know. And so we preach that at the shop, and we let guys know from the simple things like attitude to communication with each other. That's everything. So it's constant. We have our guys on a personal development program. Probably a little stricter with the advisors on the program than with the techs. But even that, I got 2 techs right now reading books on attitude, and I've got the service advisors every week turning in with their weekly reports what they did last week for their personal development. So it makes all the difference. You
believe that attitude is all about altitude, or altitude's all about attitude.
Yeah, however you put it, it's important because, it's like even when you're hiring technicians, you think, what's the most important thing? To me, it used to be, well, we got to make sure they know how to fix the cars and all that. But you know what? Honestly, it's their attitude, because if they're great at fixing cars, but they're no fun to be around, or they're great at fixing cars, but they repel everybody else in the shop, I'd rather have 5 average guys than 1 hot shot with an attitude problem.
Has reading the books, have you noticed a difference from a tech or any employee that you have once they've done? Once they've finished reading the book?
I have. I definitely have. One of our techs, he used to be a little bit more difficult to deal with, if you will, but he's a great tech. But, even recently, it's just a huge difference in the way that we interact with them. And it's not to say that it's perfect, but when there is a problem, there's a responsible approach, right, to fixing the problem. And it's not just yelling, whining, being a baby about it. It's like, oh, I understand your side. You understand my side. Here's a resolution. Let's do it. And so it's not perfect, but it's much more manageable.
Any special courses that you've ever sent someone to?
We do a lot of audio books, and we do a lot of regular books. But I will say that we've sent our guys to the RLO training with Barry.
Oh, yeah.
And it's made, it's an unbelievable difference in their outlook. They're better salespeople because of it, but they're really better. He really gets down to why they do what they do, if you will.
He is a passionate trainer, isn't he?
There's no one like Barry. He's something else.
You told me you sent one of your guys to an EQ seminar.
Yeah, that was online, actually, through the NAPA Training Network. Okay. And it was an online course, and for the emotional intelligence, emotional IQ. And, that's a huge thing right there, because, most people don't even know what it is, right? And then when you get into, really what it is and what it'll do for you, it just makes you better at I don't want to say dealing with people, because it almost sounds like you're saying people are a problem, but it helps you to better work with people.
And it helps you really more realize your strengths, your weaknesses, to get in touch with yourself so that you know how to deal with people, to really bring some empathy into situations. In fact, I took a week-long course, a few years ago now, and it was one of the most emotional draining courses I've ever been to. So my hat's off to you for doing some EQ training.
Yeah, thanks.
So what's your strategy to get stuff done?
I love task lists. So when you say get stuff done, I look at it as a challenge. I'm competitive by nature anyway, but I like to be very organized. I like to have repetitive processes in place so that I don't have to think a lot. I'm actually I'm kind of lazy person, but I do like to get things done. So it's kind of a strange combination.
Wait a minute. I have to ask you a question. Are you a procrastinator, which is why you need task lists?
Not always, just on certain things.
Okay.
I'll procrastinate, but usually I'm consistently working on something so that it's done a day or two before, just in case I have to do something again, or fix something. But as far as, how do I get things done? I'm very methodical. I like to be organized. I like to write out a game plan for everything, probably overly, even simple things I probably maybe over plan for sometimes. But, when I start doing things, I like to check them off and I just get it done. So
give me some ideas of your systems that you've got into place. Do you use software at all?
Sure do. In our shop, we have just one simple thing is, as far as getting things done, one of the things that I found helps me get things done the most is to be extremely organized. So in that, what we do is with our guys at the shop, we have all of our policy and procedures and our SOPs, our standing operating procedures, I should say, on Google Docs, right? So each of our guys has their own account, and each of our technicians has their own laptop and iPad. So on their laptop, they can access all of the company documents right from there. There's no reason to ask for them. They can request time off that way. They can look up procedures that way. Procedures meaning not how to fix a car procedure, but how to do things in our shop, like how to request time off, things like that. So it's very organized. The service advisor is the same thing. We have a very very organized paper flow of everything, and then in the end, everything is scanned, everything is archived, and then everything is shredded. So we can easily retrieve everything right on our network.
It's just like the government.
No, we're better than that. That was a loaded question, a loaded statement there.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
Know why you install Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust? Every part that goes into a Felpro box is validated and approved by a Felpro engineer. Product testing and validation is an integral part of Felpro's engineering, manufacturing, and field testing, where vehicles undergo tests that log over 1 million miles every year. They also reach out to you, the pro, through technology blogs and their technical forums to listen, learn, and keep in touch with you. It's amazing to think that Felpro produces over 325,000 gaskets per day. That's 325,000 per day in their 1 million square foot facility in Skokie, Illinois. Under the same roof, engineering and manufacturing uphold Felpro quality, utilizing 4,500 active production tools with tooling tolerances to 5 microns. Now that's smaller than a human hair. A tight tolerance like that ensures the sealing ability of Felpro gaskets. And their own in-house chem lab develops proprietary formulations like PermaDry Plus to produce 35,000 molded rubber sealing components every day. Plus, with Felpro, you get coverage from 1955 of 96% of all domestics and 93% of all import vehicles. So feel confident that with new engines and new technologies, Felpro will be there with innovative solutions to solve your customers' sealing problems. Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust. Go to felpro-only.com for more information. Any special systems that you use to keep yourself personally on track, and are they, do you have something on your phone, something on your desktop? How do you manage yourself?
For my daily agenda, I try to make that out the day before. So then before I go home or at night before I go to bed, I'll make the next day out. And I just prioritize it. And then what I use is Wunderlist. It's just an app I use on my phone, and it also syncs up with my PC. So when I get here in the morning, whatever I wrote in my phone is on my PC. I can open it up. Sometimes I even print that out to carry it with me to make notes throughout the day as I'm knocking stuff out. And then in front of me, as I'm looking at it right now, I have my daily owner agenda on right above my main monitor. And it's got Monday through Friday and every task I should complete each day. And a lot of it's repetitive, like review sales, accounts payable, receivable, check our reviews online, review our marketing, make sure all the ads are up to date, the results are right where they should be. And that's a daily thing. And I find if I do it every day, it's never a big chore.
Okay, it's never a big chore. But why do you do it? Is it good discipline?
Because I'm lazy. So if I do that every day, I don't have to ever have this big unsurmountable thing to overcome. And I find that if you do things consistently, it makes up for me anyway. If I do those things consistently, that makes me really good at it. So the things that I'm bad in, they don't show up so much. So I know that, for example, if I consistently review my marketing and I send out my thank you cards and I call my 5 prospects a day and I call my new customers that came in last week just to say hi and thank you. If I do that really good, that makes up for, maybe if we had a comeback or something like that, right? Well, that doesn't blare so loudly when I'm doing all these other things right, because I have customers coming in left and right because I'm doing the small things correctly. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, it does. I love it. It's a personal discipline that you've come up with. Obviously we all have our challenges. We have our strengths. We have our challenges, and you figured out how to overcome yours.
Some of them.
Okay, so we're not perfect.
Yeah,
we know that. Yeah. So tell me about Dad. Does he come into work every day?
Every day. If there was 8 days, he'd be here 9. But he's here 6 days a week. We're open 5 days a week. This is just what he does. He built it from nothing, absolutely nothing, and this is his baby. So changed his his role, though. Now he's more so we don't count on him for production, but we count on him for mentorship. So he mentors the guys in the shop from fixing cars to, work habits and, believe it or not, just life, right? He's kind of a counselor a lot.
I get it. Has your dad, Gordie, ever put his arm around your shoulder and said, "I'm proud of you, son"?
Oh, yeah. Yep, he has. And he says it.
He just doesn't think it. Got any plans to grow?
Absolutely. We got a lot of room here. As you said, we got 11 lifts, 4 techs. We got a lot of space here, and we're really pushing, which I hear many shops talking about it now, but a lot more on the fleet side. And with us, I'm not looking for 300 car fleets. I'm looking for 10, 15, 20 car fleets. I think that's, for me, I'm comfortable with that, because then I know if something were to happen, whether if they were to leave, or if, a change of management, people try different repair shops, if they will. I don't want to ever lose a huge account and have that really affect not only me, but my guys. I got to make sure that I'm responsible for them.
Okay, growing inside of a building that has the capacity, a lot of guys and gals are putting in a DVI, digital vehicle inspection system, paperless. And so many stats that are coming out are saying that their average repair order is way up. Is that a strategy of yours?
Oh, for sure. We put one in with UVAT Auto Vitals a couple, I think 3 years ago now. And it set things on fire for us. And, and it's not so much that it's like we're doing inspection. We always did inspections, right? But what it does is one of the big things it does is it completely streamlines that process. So it's a very methodical process. It's done the same way every single time, kind of alluding back to what we talked about before. It's not like one day that, I'll check the brakes this way, and then next week I'll check the car out this way, and then next week I'll do an inspection. It's not based on feelings. It's factual. It's right there on the iPad. You have to check it off, take pictures, check it off, take pictures of good stuff and bad. And what that does for us is, number one, the technician knows the expectation. So they know that we're gonna look at the report that they submit, and we're gonna expect that there's pictures. We're going to expect that there's pictures of good things. We're going to expect that there's pictures of bad things. And then they know that service advisor is counting on a properly done inspection, because we're going to present that to our customer. And then customers that come back, month after month, or it's not month after month, but visit after visit, those customers expect to see a report like that. So we're all accountable to each other with it. And the fact that it's digital and it's online, it's trackable. We can look at the results of that. When we were doing paper inspections, you're lucky to get a napkin needs a ball joint on it, right? But now, this way, it's printed out the same way. We can analyze how long it took to do the inspection. We can analyze what techs are recommending, what they're recommending, to find out, hey, how come this technician never finds bad ball joints? Or this technician, he's always saying that it needs a BG transmission service. Well, that could be good and bad. We have to find out what that is. When it's digital, it allows us to find out why.
So you're telling me you got stats you don't know what to do with?
Oh, yeah. If it's not measurable, what's the point?
Got it. And what are you doing with them?
Those stats? Mm-hmm. Well, we look at them, and we do show the technicians, hey, how come you don't recommend wiper blades? Is that all the cars that come in that you work on don't need wiper blades? Well, obviously not. So we need to make sure that we're looking at wiper blades. And it's not that they're intentionally maybe doing something wrong. But again, that inspection sheet holds us accountable to make sure that we're properly doing an inspection on a vehicle.
It's so interesting that you say that. Wiper blades, cabin airs, it's like you could put $10,000 in the bottom line by just looking at each of those individual components. Have you noticed, an uptick in sales of those in the last 3 years?
Our NAPA rep says that we're one of the top salespeople for cabin air filters. Most shops don't even check them. I shouldn't say that. Many shops don't even check them. And I know that because we were guilty of that. So, but until we had it on that sheet or on our digital inspection, and it was expected that it was checked with a picture, it made all the difference in the world.
I get it. So the old way is you waited for the customer to come in, you showed them the cabin air that was all gunked up, and then they said, yeah, go ahead and put it in. But if you sent it in a text or a picture during the transaction and they said yes, done, buttoned up when they pick it up.
For sure. And here's the other thing. Many customers I don't even see them. They drop their car off in the morning. We do the inspection or the oil service or whatever it is that we're doing to it that day. And then they pay over the phone and they pick it up after hours. I don't even see them. So how would I possibly sell that service without showing them, right? Because we like to show as much as we can.
I see the benefits to the shop, and I actually see the benefits to the customer. What are the customers saying about their connection with you through pictures and texting?
Oh, you can check our reviews on that. I mean, we get people all the time saying, I went in, it was my first visit, and I couldn't believe it. They showed me pictures and what was wrong now. And what's most ironic about it, what I found surprising is that, a customer will come in and let's say it's their first time, and then we do an inspection on the vehicle and we find, $1,500 worth of work to the car. Well, most of us don't we like it, but we don't like it because we don't want to tell that brand new customer, you have $1,500 wrong with your car. And then our fears are going to leave. Say, they tried to rip me off. They told me I needed all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's the old way. Well, what we're finding is, and we've had it in some of the reviews, people will say they were very nice and they presented me with a report and it showed me what I need to do now. And then they also told me things I can do in the future to keep my car running. So it's totally positive, which to me, I'm like, oh, that right there's worth it for sure.
It's almost like it's getting rid of the marginal shop that is really causing a terrible image in our industry.
I think it could be doing that, but I know that it's revealing the shops that are wanting to do it the right way.
Better way to say it.
There's always going to be those other shops, right?
Got it. So you said NAPA. Is NAPA your first call?
Yeah. They've been a great partner for us. They help us out with. They have great parts, obviously. They have a great network of people in the area. We have our business development group that we meet with usually once a month, and those guys we're all buddies. And it's really cool because we're really close to each other. All these shops in the NAPA group, but we technically, if you were to look at a definition of a competitor, we are competitors. But boy, do we share a lot of information back and forth. We help each other. We share tools. And it's a great network, and we wouldn't have had that without NAPA at the time. So
I think that's called Coop Petition.
Yeah, never heard that term, but that sounds good to me.
Coop. There's a book. Yeah. I read it. I can't remember who wrote it, but a great book. Speaking almost to that same language.
Yeah.
You've always counted on Moog to keep you ahead of the pack when it comes to chassis innovation. Well, they've done it again. Most recently launched is the Moog ball joint with a pre-installed integral dust boot. It's designed exclusively for compression-loaded suspension systems, providing superior strength and durability for these types of vehicle applications. The dust boot is made from higher-strength materials and comes pre-installed, saving you time because it's easier to install. It also has a larger contact area against the stud, which makes a more effective seal. For your customers, the unit uses Moog's powdered metal gusher bearing that provides longer life and controlled radial and axial movement. You get the industry's leading coverage of 10,000 SKUs, including 4,600 for foreign applications. Hey, you've been installing Moog confidently for years, and now you know why. You say you're the dealer alternative. Everybody's saying that today.
Well, we changed it the other day, actually. It's funny you say that. We just made our new ad, and now we say we're on our ads better than the dealer in so many ways. And it's a little kind of, maybe aggressive, but the reason I say that is not because I'm saying it. It's because that's what our customers tell us when they come in. They're like, and dealers are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying dealers are bad. We need them. They provide the source for what we do later, right? They sell the cars and we fix them. But I think it comes down to service and I think it comes down to being having that personal relationship with those customers. When they walk in, I know their names, right? So customers say that. They say, this is so much better than the dealer. We come here, we get our car back the same day. You drive me to work. You get, you just treat us like people. And so that's what they're telling us. So that's why we say, hey, why not throw that on the ad now? So we'll see what happens with it.
Any big threat or concern to your business?
I think the same thing that everybody's been saying. I've heard it on many of your podcasts as well as, the lack of technicians out there. We put out a Facebook post the other day And we said on there that, we used to hire technicians or mechanics and teach them how to use computers to fix cars. And now we hire computer guys and we teach them how to fix cars, right? So it's a total flop. And there's a lot of reasons for that, obviously. One of them, it's interesting, is the other day I volunteered at my daughter's school, and the teacher, when we got done making our fossils and that, she goes, "So what do you do for a living?" I said, "Oh, we have an auto repair business." And I told her, the mustares about that. And she said, "Oh, that's cool." And I said, "So you could help me out with that." And she goes, "What's that?" I said, "Do you know that a few months ago, I drove a counselor back to the college down the street, and I asked the counselor, I said, how do you advise students on what industry to go into?" And they went through their, we look at their scores and their tests and this and that. And I said, "So if I was looking to be an auto technician and I told you I wanted to do that, how much would you tell me I would make a year?" And she sat there, probably, 30,000, 20, 30,000. I said, "Exactly." So I was explaining this to the teacher, my daughter's teacher, and she had no idea of what the possibilities are for people in the automotive career, fixing cars, maintaining cars, whatever it was. And so I think that the reason that there's such a shortage is a huge disconnect on the opportunities available to people that want to fix cars. And it's not like the days where the students were bad at math and science, so they put them in automotive training. That's just silly. That's the most ridiculous thing you could say today, because the technicians, for majority of shops out there, they're intelligent people. They're people that enjoy what they do. They love fixing cars. They're great at computers, and they make a heck of a better living, to be honest with you, than a lot of college graduates that get out make, with a business degree or whatever it is. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, let's look at the facts on that, because you get out with a college degree with a $50,000 in debt to make $30,000, or you can be an auto technician and make much greater money than that with an investment that holds its value in the tools, and you can make a living. There's just, to me, it doesn't make sense why it's not being promoted as a way to live and make a living for your family.
Well, you said a mouthful there. Proud of it, by the way. And I recently interviewed Jennifer Maher, and she's with TechForce, and she is developing this entire hub. And it's episode 176, and I want to encourage everyone who's listening to this now to listen to Jennifer, because everything you just said, Jennifer is building a program and a process around it, that educational paradigm shift that is so necessary. Now, you've done one counselor and you've done one teacher. You should really make it a goal as best as you can to do one a month, because I think that grassroots effort's the only thing that's going to change people saying, well, you need to have a lab coat or you need to be a Harvard lawyer if you're going to be successful. And the $200,000 of debt to do some of that stuff, like you just said. I've interviewed Jennifer. Her episode is probably released by now, and she talks about many of our kids want to work with their hands. They were meant to dance and design and sell, and she had a great phrase: "Think with their hands." What a great phrase.
That is great.
Yeah, great phrase. So I'm excited about helping that organization get their message out, and I think you're going to like it if you have a chance to listen to it.
Sure.
All right. So technician training, the guys, what are you sending them to?
So we go to NAPA's really been a huge help with that. They have, I think it's 7 live sessions a year in our area. So our BDG group is able to send our technicians to that. And the training is very, very good. Very good. And then in addition to that, they do the online training with NAPA. And that there is available all the time, obviously. And they can train on that. ASC certification testing and all that is there. And actually next week, we have a trainer coming in-house to train for 4 hours. So we're going to shut down part of the shop for 4 hours, and he's going to train in-house on just the best practices on diagnosing cars with the tools that we have in our shop, which are all factory tools.
Who's coming in?
Rob Roth from NAPA.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a great instructor.
Are you paying for all the training?
Yeah.
Are all your techs ASE certified?
Yeah, yes, they except for our general service tech. He's going to be, though. But the others are, yes.
Joe, tell us your best customer service story.
Best customer service story. Well, one that jumps to mind would be we had a vehicle that my ma had sold to the dealership, or traded in, if you will, to the dealership. Probably this was a few years back now. And so she traded in. It was a Chrysler minivan, and she got her new Ford Edge, and she's loving it. And a few weeks, maybe a few months later, it could have been a few months actually, this car comes in, and it's a van, and I'm like, okay, and it's shifting bad. And so we're going through it, and I said to my dad, I said, Dad, this looks like Mom's van, is it? And he goes, oh, I don't know. We see so many of these coming through. And so I look up the VIN number. I go, this is Mom's old van. This is crazy. And the transmission was messed up on it, which was crazy because she drives like I don't mean this in a bad way, but like a little old lady, if you will. And so she's very nice to it, and she didn't drive a lot. So anyway, it comes in, we inspect it, find out it needs a transmission. I look up the service history on it just to see what we had maybe done on it. I found out we did all the BG services to it, right? So I call the customer up, and I let them know, hey, the bad news is that it needs a transmission. Internally, something has failed. We have to take it out, check it out. He's, oh boy. And I said, normally it would have cost you about, $2,500 roughly. I said, but because we use BG products at our shop and we're able to show records of us doing it, I said, it's going to cost you, I think it was the cost of the trans kit, which was $100 maybe, or something like that, or something of that nature. It was very cheap. And, he felt he couldn't believe it. He's like, are you kidding me? You're actually going to cover this? And I said, well, it's not just us. It's our supplier. It's part of the program and whatnot. And he was just shocked that we would have done that, because he said, you could have just charged me for it. I would have had to buy it, and nobody would have known, and you'd have got paid. I said, well, that's the part of using quality products and all that. We have people that stand behind what we do. So, it was great for the customer, obviously, but I think we felt better about it than what he got out of it, because it was just so cool to not have to, break that guy's bank, if you will. It was fun. So
I hear this all the time: integrity, honesty, the do right rule, and that is the industry. Just doesn't, I go back to what I said earlier. There's too many black eyes in our industry for all the good that you guys are doing out there.
It's crazy too, because when you do those things, it never feels like it's the right thing to do at the time, right? Because you're thinking, man, just a real quick example. We had one. This is probably 10 years ago, and we did some work underneath the Cadillac and under the hood, right? And the heater core lines were right there, and customer came back a week later and he said, I got a coolant leak. So we checked it out and found out that we tampered with the heater core lines when we were doing the other work, and they're leaking now. So you obviously got to pull the dash out. It's like a $1,500 job. And so I call the customer, I tell him to come down. I show him what happened. He goes, oh boy, so I got to have the heater core. I said, you do? I said, but honestly, I think we did this. And so we're going to just take care of it. And, we took care of the technician. I think however it worked out, we worked out a deal with the technician. I think he even just did it for nothing because he knew that he probably damaged it. And we got one of our largest fleets out of that, because he went back and told his boss what we did. And to this day, we still get tons of business from that. So it just always pays to do the right thing.
It sure does.
And it doesn't feel like you're doing it.
Okay. It's at the end of 2016 as we record this. Anything special on the plans for 2017?
Well, we're going to grow next year. That is for sure. We've set our sales goals for next year. We had our meeting last week with our guys, and we're pretty excited. We put in a whole shop year profit sharing for everybody, right? So everybody plays a role in it this year. And obviously we're going to do our little things throughout the year, but we put that in for the year, and we're just nailing out the details. And at the end of the month, we're going to have a nice barbecue dinner here at the shop, and we're going to knock that out. So.
A celebration. And wait a minute, are you saying that the profit share is 2016 or is going to be installed for next year?
Next year.
Got it.
For next year. So we've designed it. We just got to finalize it, and we're gonna go for it and see if we can all make some money.
Did you do this on your own? Did you do it with your group? Did you do it with Barry?
But no. We talked about it probably 2 years ago with our RLO group, our 20 group, Group 13, best group, by the way.
Okay.
No offense. We are. And we talked about it, just never acted on it. And then this year I said, I'm going to do something with it. Some of the other guys in the group are doing a little bit with it. But to answer your question, they're helping me tremendously with looking at it, pros and cons, and how to exactly put it together so that it's a win-win for everybody.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Anything holding you back right now?
Probably just me, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we face any struggles that other shops don't. I think we're all in the same boat there. We're all in this together. So I just, as far as just being aggressive and going out and, going after new business and being different about it and being effective at the same time. So I don't think there's anything that out in the world that's holding me back. Just I got to get out and do more.
Where are you spending your marketing money?
Right now, it's pretty spread across, but it's an interesting thing. Where are we spending our money? Where am I spending my efforts? That's different because direct mail, that's the most expensive, right? So, and it's probably one of the easiest to track. So we're spending some money on that. Obviously, I think we're always going to have to do that as of right now anyway. But where I'm spending our efforts is online, making sure that we have a good online presence and to take daily time to respond to my customer reviews, let them know that I hear you, good or bad. And then also making sure that the content on our website is written properly so that when people do search for an honest auto mechanic in our area, they find me. So that's where I'm spending my efforts. And secondly, would be to make sure that with new customers, the retention rates in automotive are pretty low. There's we just did an analysis of this in our last 20 group meeting, and for a long time, people thought, 75% of your customers come back. That's not true. It's less than that, and thus we're all bad in our group. But I think that what the numbers we came up with were about 65% retention, right? And we're losing about 35%. And so when you really know that number, then that's got to raise a red flag and say, okay, everybody's doing a lot of marketing out there. And we're pretty good at it at this point. We have a lot of new customers, and a lot of the guys in our group have a lot of new customers coming in as well. But what we're falling short on is, why aren't they coming back? Are they just coming in for the cheap oil change and then leaving? Are they just coming in for the quick tire repair and then leaving? How do we retain that customer? So retention is where it's at. So we're working on that now through sending, instead of sending a postcard saying thank you that's been pre-printed from a computer, now we handwrite the thank you card. And we do that quick. And now 3 to 5 days of a new customer coming in, they used to get an email follow-up, which they still do, but now they get a phone call too saying, hey, we appreciate you for coming in. Thank you for giving us a shot.
Is it too early to tell if those efforts are working?
It is too early, but it feels right. So I think it's going to work. You just feel good when you get off the phone with the customer, or you write them a note, and you can just tell when you're doing it right. So I think it's going to be good.
Do you have customers for life?
For life? That's our goal.
Of that 65% retention rate, give or take for you, are there any that you've just had for 20, 25 years? They just drop the keys and they say, fix it?
Yeah, that's the majority. I mean, that's we know them. We know them very well.
They're like family.
Yeah, I mean, they come in, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. It's great.
Got it.
Yeah, but it takes time to build those.
What's the shop of the future going to look like?
I don't know for sure, but I know I'm going to be there. That's what I do know. Now, what that'll look like, I mean, I could guess what I want it to look like, but I think it's going to have a lot more technical aspect to it, as far as I think we're going to see the autonomous cars that are coming out. We're going to have to really be on our game for that. It's just not going to be but the thing is this, we know we're going to be there. The industry's not going to go away because of autonomous cars or some highly technical thing. I remember when I was a little kid and carburetors were out, and then the fuel injections started coming out, and everybody goes, oh, that's it. We're done. Dealers only, this and that. And now there's probably more independents now than there were then. And the cars are more technical now than they were then. So I just believe that as this industry grows and as things evolve, the industry is going to make tools so that we can have access to information and make tools so we can fix cars. And I personally think it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Not only that is when you look at the autonomous cars that are coming out, I mean, anytime there's change like that, there's just a lot of people are going to run and hide, and a lot of people are going to go for it. And I think that there's going to be a huge opportunity with what's coming. So
thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Wow. I mean, you really gave it up.
Well, I appreciate these podcasts. I'll tell you what, I learn a lot from these. When I'm listening to them, like, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So,
all right. Okay. I got to send you $1. Thanks for the testimonial. Wonderful. All right. Joe Hanson from Gordie's Garage. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, your stories. One last request. Great words of wisdom.
Oh, great words of wisdom. I would say that the greatest words of wisdom I got from anybody was to be around other shop owners or people that are better than you, so you can definitely learn from them and grow from them. Be uncomfortable. Make sure you're uncomfortable every day.
Yeah, never be the smartest one in the class, right?
Never. I'd be in trouble.
Refreshing. Hey, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Aftermarketers, thanks for joining us for an in-depth episode experience. Don't miss the show notes for this episode with Joe Hanson. Find them exclusively on the show's episodes page at remarkableresults.biz/E177. Thank you, Joe, for your wisdom and for your insights, best practices, and stories of your continued business success. Hey, please send your emails to me, carm@remarkableresults.biz, and share ideas on guests and to let me know how you enjoy the content. You are an important reason I bring you these interviews so you can profit from the answers found in each episode. So spread the word. Like my Facebook page and share all my posts on social media. Don't keep this great industry resource a secret. Hey, I'm grateful and thankful for your support. Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from another inspiring aftermarket professional. Until next time.